of that?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay for where we're at, Dylan.
Yes.
So I picked these up on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
I think the last time I came on the podcast with Joey, I was like, man, I'm going to start my own thing. I remember messaging him and he's like, oh, you had to get a table, like a full get up. And I'm like, dude, what's the cheapest option that I can get? And so I got these 2 Blue Yeti mics and I did nothing with them. Well, I shouldn't say that. I sat down and recorded a conversation with Mina, who used to train at CrossFit Rehearsal, recommended him to you. And it was a good conversation.
Haven't you done a chat with Lockie as well? Was that you?
That was Lockie.
Yeah.
I was on his podcast.
Ah.
But Mina and I chatted and we were... Yeah, you can shut the door, man. We were upstairs at the gym at the time and it was really warm.
Yeah. And
he's like, can we get a fan going? I'm like, yeah, sure, man. We can get a fan going. And it was a great conversation, right? And I'm listening back to it. And all I can hear is a fucking fan. So I'm like, your question about the background noise? Yes, as long as we don't have fans going. But I've always liked this medium.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah, it's good. I like conversation, right? Like, as you can probably tell, we've had a few conversations. I like to talk, and having a talk, if you can have a talk and have it be recorded and it still be a genuine talk, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the best medium.
Yeah. I remember listening to one podcaster and he was saying that he gives this piece of advice where he's like, record at least one conversation a week, half an hour conversation with your buddies. And what the mics do is they make you very considerate about what you're saying.
Yeah.
So to your point about the having it feel normal, it's difficult because straight away you're paying attention to the words that come out of your mouth. You're like, am I saying like too much? Am I saying too much? In my case, last time I was on the Jungle podcast, I remember saying, it was this phrase, and as soon as I heard it, I could not hear it. And so I just spent, like, I would have listened to the podcast a few times, and the whole time I was beating myself up because I was like, dude, that one phrase every single time.
Yeah. So I think, because I've been on a few now, right? Like I've done the JB's one a ton of times, and then me and Chloe have a podcast we recorded like 3 or 4 episodes of that is somewhere and will be put somewhere else eventually.
Somewhere in the ether.
Yeah, right. You kind of get used to it. I do find sometimes chatting with Joey, you take it a bit more seriously, right? Because it's Joey.
Yeah.
And you have the headphones on and you're in the thing. And like, it's really good at setting the mood because it's like, oh, okay, I'm in this experience. I can hear only the boys. This is very insular. But at the same time, that time can take away a little bit probably from like the authenticity of like, oh, I'm just going to say whatever the fuck comes out of my mouth, rather than it's like, oh no, I'm going to think a little bit more about what I'm going to say.
Well, here's the thing, right? We've started recording because I didn't want to make it a weird intro.
Hey, we're in. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the Changes the Point podcast.
Yeah.
I said it now. Now I'm going to be weird. The point is that idea of like locking yourself in, I think it can feel a little bit intimidating, especially when you're kind of starting out with anything.
Yeah.
And you hear about, say, the Joe Rogan experience and how people talk about how he's such a master at making people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And a lot of his starts are just rolling, you know?
I think that's the best way to do it. And like the way I've found the best in experience, right? Because even if you have a topic, even if you have some forethought, you start with the banter, you click play, and then you just decide later where you want to use that from, right? Like, who knows? Maybe we'll talk for half an hour and then the last 45 minutes or something, that'll be what becomes the podcast.
Well, I think we've got Sam's lunch in the start of this podcast. So whether or not we want to include that or not. But I think all of my favorite podcasts are the sort of unedited ones.
Yeah.
And there's that idea, and which is why these microphones have been collecting dust for the last 6 months. It's like, it has to be perfect. And that's something that stopped me in my life for the longest time. The idea that the product that I put out has to be perfect and polished. Have you experienced that on any degree yourself?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But also coming as a perspective of someone who owns a larger small business, nothing is ever perfect, right? Yeah. So I've had to come to terms with that frequently and let go of that as a thought, right? Because running of a facility, you cannot do everything 100%. You've got to pick your battles, and 100% you always get that, oh, did I meet my standard, did this, but then later you're like, well, no, I did as good as I could at the time, and that's good enough, and I can keep improving.
Yeah.
Because fucking delivering something or doing the thing is so much better than just, oh, it's not quite there yet, so I'll just wait another 10 years and then it'll be where I want it to be.
I think there's two sides to that. I think the one side is that from like the client or the receiver's perspective, if I'm putting myself in their shoes, I'm going to give the presenter some grace.
Yeah.
And not because I feel sorry for them, because I'm like, we're connecting in the sense that I might have put you on a pedestal, but you're a human doing the thing and we're actually on the same level.
Yeah.
So it's like the idea around perfectionism. It's like you kind of hope that the audience gives you the same grace, not because you deserve to feel sorry for, but because you've done a great job at creating a level of resonance, or you're on someone's level and you're like, dude, I'm just another human trying to figure this shit out. And that's what it seems to me that Rogan does really well. Because I don't know, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and when I pay attention, say particularly to Rogan, it's like the way that he communicates, he always makes the guest feel valued, and he's always interested. And he also doesn't pretend to be smarter than his audience, which I'm very guilty of. And I'm sure maybe there were times in your life where you were guilty of that.
Yeah, dude, the amount of times, even to this day, you forget, like, technical jargon is not a standard thing, right? Or like, I'll be home with my wife and I'll like use some fucking fitness term and I'll be like, oh, you know, when I'm protracting, and this is like, and she's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Can you just speak like a human? I'm like, when my shoulder's like out, it feels sore.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, of course.
But what I'm actually asking for is a massage.
Yeah, I'm like, can you just please like give me a massage? I think the other side of it too, right, is that we're always going to be super critical of anything we're doing, right? So even if to your standard it's not 100%, you're the fucking only one who's noticing, right? Everyone else is enjoying it. Everyone else is like, man, this is the best thing I've had in ages. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's, in my personal experience, what leads to like excellence, right? Like you can only get better at something if there is a critical eye on it.
Yeah.
But it definitely can prevent a lot of people from doing the thing as well.
Yeah, and that was going to be the second point I was going to make. There's that, like, you hope the audience gives you grace, and at the same time, you understand, like, say for Joey with the example, he's a man of action, and the conversations that I've had with Joey, I think, fuck, that guy's Yoda, he's a fucking Jedi.
Yeah.
Joey might go back and be super critical, and yet in my eyes, the consumer's eyes, he's this amazing enigma. One of the things that you said to me on the floor was that you're a really slow learner.
Yeah.
I'm curious to dig into that because it relates to this conversation in the sense that you came from a place of, it seemed to me that you'd given yourself the grace to be a slow learner, and the fact that you own that outright, as I said, it feels to me that that gives you so much room to grow and expand on your skill set or whatever direction you might choose to go down. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I see it as an advantage these days. I definitely didn't see it that way forever, but it's something that I've had to come to terms with, because to me, it's just the way things are, I believe, right? Like, I think that I pick up skills, I pick up things slower than most, but I think that also gives me the grace, like you said, to accept that and get more involved with the thing. Or also, by the time I know the thing, man, I know it because I've done it for so many hours. I've looked into it. I've researched ways to get around these roadblocks I've had. I've not only just gone and, like, let's say handstands, right? Like, I am the slowest learner to handstands that my coach has ever had, that this gym's ever had, right? But now you ask me about the shoulder, about like what good drills are if you've got like shitty external rotation or shoulder flexion or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, man, let's talk about it. Let's sit down, let's have a conversation, because I've had to take my time and learn this thing because it doesn't come to me naturally. Yeah.
And that is a fact with most things. It doesn't come to me naturally. I've got to put the effort in, but that breeds an appreciation of the thing.
Do you think that's one of your bigger advantages as a coach?
Yeah. Totally. Man, I've had coaches who did gymnastics as kids or did all this stuff when they were younger, And there is a disconnect, right? They're great coaches for other people in similar circumstances to them, but they've never quite been able to help me, right? Because they've never gone through the struggle. They're like, oh yeah, you push harder in the handstands, you get it. Or like I've had business coaches who have always been good at business, and they're like, yeah, man, you just balance your P&L, you're good to go. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Can you tell me from step one? Like, you've got to understand, I'm an adult who has come from another realm than you. I'm not a business bro. Like, talk to me in a language I get. Start me at step one. Yeah. Regardless of whether you think I'm better than that or not, because of the situation I'm in, talk to me like base, and I'll decide where I fit in.
Yeah. I do. I definitely sense that about you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
cool.
I asked that question because at times when I'm going through, we just did a training session, and I was doing some Olympic lifting. Haven't visited it in a while. I'm videoing myself, and I'm recognizing the heavier the weight gets, the more these sort of weaknesses and deficiencies start to show up, at least in my eyes. And I'm like, fuck, why do I have that problem? Fuck, why do I have this problem? But there's this kind of introspection that I apply to that. And I imagine it's the same for you, where you go, well, the fact that I'm experiencing this problem now means that I get to talk about it later.
Yeah.
As opposed to your point, if things came naturally or easy, it'd be a very different story.
Yeah.
In the sense that you don't have a very practical and very visceral understanding of what people are going through when trying to solve for X.
Yeah.
And as I said, that's why I asked the question about it being one of your biggest strengths as a coach. If we flip that and Dylan has an introspective moment, what would you say one of your weaknesses as a coach is?
Ooh.
Because it's all well and good to talk about how awesome we are. But I don't think, I'm not great at that. You're probably not good at that, but it's just an interesting flip of the question.
Yeah. Look, I have an arrogance to the way I coach. This is it, right? Like, it's weird because I see it as a strength and a weakness, right? I'm forever a learner. I accept the fact that like I'm not the best at things, but if someone comes up to me, I had this conversation yesterday with a member, and they're like, man, I've done PTs with like all the coaches here except for you. And I'm like, yeah, you've been with the rest. Come and train with the best now. Like, let's do it. And I'm like, half joking. You know what I mean? Like, there is a confidence there that can, one, be strong for me, but can also sometimes like be a little bit like, oh, check yourself, right? So that can be a pretty big weakness for me sometimes. Just that invalid sense of superiority.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which I imagine has got you places, because you have a sales background, is that right?
Yeah.
You probably kind of learnt a bit of that on the job, I imagine.
Yeah.
So it's probably got you places, but now you're in an industry where you're dealing with people's emotions and sensitivities, and it's all very complicated.
It's very performance based, right? Like if I say something, bro, I better be able to back that shit up, right? And if you can't, well, people are going to tell quick.
Yeah. Do you have a specific situation in which that, something has blown up because of that, as you call it, arrogance?
Yeah. Online coaching.
Okay.
Yeah. I still have a couple of people I online coach, but not many, right? In that arrogance, I'm like, yeah, man, I can do it all. I can have the 5 online clients. I can coach 10 classes a week, and I can do 10 face-to-faces or 20 online clients or whatever it is. I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm good. I know my shit, right? I'll give each of them enough attention. And the fact of the matter is that I'm not a good online coach, right? Like, I had all these people sending me messages or asking me questions, and I'm like, prioritizing physically what's in front of me and not giving them any attention. Or when I do give them attention, it's like, yeah, here's a little thing for you, go and do it. There is a couple of people I can work with online and I can do things with because I see them face to face as well, right? Like, I'm not just doing online with it. But like, I did not deliver on that product, and I only accepted it out of sheer arrogance that I could do it all, right? And in retrospect, like, if I was those clients, I would have been fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
I wasn't charging a heap, but I was charging enough to be like, yo, what the fuck?
Have an expectation.
Yeah. Like, you're like delivering this other product, and that's why I said I want to work with you, and now you're not giving me what I deserve out of this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of come at it from opposite ends of the spectrum. Not to claim a high moral ground, but you know, because I have an arrogance in my ignorance, in a sense. What I was going to say is, do you think that, as you put it, the arrogance, do you think that's a common thing amongst coaches, or do you see more the other way where you're trying to, as a manager, unlock a coach's confidence?
It's a split. So 90% of coaches are way more arrogant than they deserve to be, right?
Interesting.
Definitely, in my opinion. And that's fine, because it's part of what is needed to be like a leader, right? You need to have that little bit of like, hey, look at me, right? Like, I'm going to do the thing, come and watch me do the thing, in my opinion anyway. But it's a show for most of them, right? Like, the arrogance is not real arrogance. It's arrogance that's being like, hey, come and look at me. And then the second everyone's not looking, it's, man, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? Like, I'm being arrogant, I'm doing the thing, I'm trying to get the attention on me and thinking I'm the best. And then as soon as like anything goes wrong, I'm like, fuck, I know nothing, right? Like, it's like, I'm the best to shit, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. That was going to be my next question about like, how has life humbled you away from that perspective?
Yeah.
Because I can say, in my experience, the arrogance that I accrue is generally pretty quickly. Well, no, it's not quickly. It's usually very slowly and painfully extrapolated, as are some of the kind of the more tangible lessons. They take a while to sink in. But in my experience, it generally seems that there is a way that the universe kind of comes full circle, and it kind of checks you without a client ever having to do it. You know, it might just be a dumb mistake that you make, and you realize, oh shit, you know, this is a bad idea. Do you find that as well, that there's this kind of like, there's this natural cycle that kind of starts to sort out those things, 100%. Assuming you are paying attention for them? Yeah,
and I think it's all like, it all comes down to, all right, so let's take coaches, because we're both coaches, right? High performers, right? Most coaches, if you're a good coach, you're a high performer. You've decided to do this thing that's challenging and is constantly going to need you to get better, right? It comes with a level of arrogance, right? The level of arrogance means that you're constantly have to be thinking, oh, I'm really good at the thing I'm doing. But then the high performer in you says, no, you're fucking not, get better, right? So you're constantly having this yin and yang, this back and forth in your own head where you're like, I've learned the thing. Here's the next thing. Oh shit, I'm shit again. And it's just constantly evolving, right? And it's training. As soon as you get good at something, the next level comes through and you're like, oh, I'm still a beginner. I need to keep going. Yeah. And that's the world checking you. It's like, hey, it's not necessarily that you're not good, but you've decided to get better. Yeah. And then that's where the reality check comes in.
And it seems like you do that through training. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you sound like you do it through business. Yeah. But if we're focusing on training for a sec, you use that as the humility tool, if you will.
100%. Yeah. Well, I think, like, man, obviously, biased opinion, I coach people for a living. I run a gym. I'm a part owner in a gym. I'm going to see everything through this lens. But training is like fucking life. A lot of the philosophy that myself at least, put into training for myself, for people, it is the same philosophy that I put into my life. And the crossover, it can't be disconnected for me. It's the same, right? The way I train, it has this like ends of stoicism and bit to the way I do it as well. The same thing with the way I program and the same way I live my life, right? Like, all of these elements are me, so they can't be disconnected.
Yeah. The training is a humility tool.
Yeah.
I wonder if we put ourselves in the client's shoes. I think it's a really difficult thing to digest for a lot of people, because, you know, and we're in this boat from time to time. We use training to feel good about ourselves, and then intermittently we use it as humility tools. As I said, I had a moment just outside where I was testing some lifts that I hadn't tested in a while, and I missed, and I didn't meet my expectations, and I got really mad about it for a little bit. And I would say, over the years of training, the space between getting mad and doing something about it, or switching my perspective on it, has gotten shorter.
Yeah.
That session might have trashed me for a good 3 days when I first started training, where I just beat myself up and talk about what a shitty piece of crap I am. But I was able to kind of identify that that session was a humility session and it illuminated potential areas to work on. So I think there's a fine balance. And as a coach, you seem to be constantly walking that line between, if we're using this analogy of the humility session, it's like, when am I using this session as a means of making the clients feel good about themselves, building some trust, creating a resonance? And then when am I intermittently implementing that humility session to kind of check them and go, hey man, there is work to be done? I think it's kind of an interesting lens to look at it from a coach, because I suppose we might subconsciously be doing that. Yeah. And it sounds like you're kind of subconsciously doing that through your training practice as well. But, you know, I'm sure not every session is a humility session for Dylan. And I'm sure you are kind of, maybe, as I said, subconsciously walking the line and balancing and going, man, today I just want to feel good about myself. I want some boulder shoulders, or I want to get a nice bicep pump and go home to my partner and say, hey babe, like,
check out the arms.
Check out these babies.
Yeah, definitely, right. I think it happens subconsciously, like you said, and I think it happens through the process of like the way training is. The way training is, you're gonna reach a limit every now and again, right? If you're doing the thing right, and I think this is for life as well, right? If you're living a good life where you're challenging yourself, right? You're constantly seeking to get better at the things that you're doing, but you're doing it in the right way. Right? You're slowly trying to adapt to this thing. Okay, I'm trying to learn more about anatomy at the moment, so I'm having mental sessions with my coach, and then once or twice a week at the moment, I'm picking a body part and I'm trying to learn its roles. Right? Cool. This is a gradual way to get better at the thing. Eventually, I'll get to a point where I'm like, oh shit, like I've gone too far. I've started trying to learn 3 days a week, and now it's taking away from this, and it gives me that check without me having to do anything. If we take, let's take one of my clients, for example, right? The way that I work is I'll give them a skill, they'll do the skill, and then each week we increase by 1 rep, right? We keep increasing until they fail, right? Okay, this is your point. This is your new norm. Now we know where we sit. That humility kicks in because they've had success. I failed. I'm shit at the thing. Okay, look, you failed. You're not shit at the thing. We just know where your limit is now. Let's take a moment. Let's get past it. Let's push through that limit.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
It's so interesting, man, because this is something that I battle with a little bit as a coach, but when a client agrees to work with you, they're agreeing to fail with you.
Yeah.
That's essentially part of the process. And I think some of the mistakes that I made in the past is I want to sell the success, which is totally fair enough. If I go to a coach, I want to be sold success. But I think what I'm learning and what I'm starting to gravitate towards in a coach is someone who can pay very close attention to me and recognize where work needs to be done. Because I think that's the essence of progress. It's like the idea that to get strong, you identify what's weak. That's literally strength training. It's like, a powerlifter works 3 lifts, but then as they test and compete, they're noticing, okay, there's a compromise in the left shoulder. What am I going to do? A bunch of accessories to work on that left shoulder. So they're identifying a weakness to get stronger. And as I said, I've really struggled as a coach to sell that idea that, hey, we're working together, but this process, you've agreed to fail with me. How do you go? Do you make that clear to a client? Have you thought about that prior to undertaking someone? Are you screening for that person? Because I think that not all of us are ready to fail with someone. We might have a romanticized idea, and I've been guilty of it, and I'm sure you have, of what this process of transformation looks like. But it's like, well, I'm not actually ready to fail. I'm ready to look good, but I can't have both without the other.
Yeah. I've been pretty blessed recently. I work with specific clients, right? And the clients who find me these days are pretty already sold on what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not actively seeking. They're seeking me most of the time, and for the things that I'm good at, which means that for the majority of them, I don't have to have that conversation. It's known, right? And that sort of self-filters. But for sure, I've gone through the process where it was a necessary step. The way I deal with that is, so I'll take a client, I'll screen them, I'll see where they're at, I'll understand, and then I'll make them go one step back. Okay, here's where you're at. We're going to start here. We're going to stay here. We're going to slowly progress from there. Most people cannot deal with an immediate failure, right? Like, and this is for everyone. We build more confidence off momentum, right? Like, if you do a thing well, fuck yeah, the next thing is easier to do. This is, I think, one of the biggest secrets to why I've done well here, right? Because I had a really good success early on and was able to keep building and building and building on that. So I'll take my client, I'll put them one step back from where I think they should be. Give them some early success, right? Hey, man, this is awesome. Look at this. We're hitting out good reps, good sets. Numbers, the weight doesn't really matter, right? They're hitting what my expectations are. They're progressing, right? By the time that they get to the level where they could have worked, right? They're ready for the next level. They're ready for the next level. It's progressive overload, right? But it's done in a way that it's repeatable and it's maintainable.
Yeah.
So that they can develop at a level where they're not going to hit failure straight away. Eventually they'll get there, right? Because my expectations get higher, their expectations get higher, the world's expectations get higher. But they're getting some momentum. So by the time that they hit that point, they're like, oh, cool, this is just part of the process.
Yeah.
Dills hasn't done me wrong for the last 3 months. He's going to continue to do me good. We're going to work through this together.
Yeah, that's really fascinating, man. I love the way that you think about that. I haven't even thought about it like that in terms of consciously starting them a little bit behind. Without them knowing, to build some confidence and momentum.
Yeah.
Because what you said most people can't deal with a failure off the bat.
Not off the bat, yeah.
And it's true. Not always, but it generally is true, especially when you're ignorant in the process, especially if it's not something that you've like sought out and you've consciously been aware that failure is going to be part of it, which most of us, as I said, don't come into the gym because we want to fail. We come into the gym because we have an idea of who we could be.
Yeah.
And so I love that idea of starting a little bit behind where they are actually building some momentum, giving them some successes before, hitting them with the humility stick.
Yeah. And it's not like you're taking away from their gains either, right? Like, they're still getting stronger.
100%.
They're still progressing. It's just that they're doing it at a maintainable pace.
Yeah, man, this reminds me of a Jordan Peterson concept. And it's the idea that, like, the small things, you're not above the small things. He talks about cleaning your room. And most of us, he talks about it in the context of people come to him and say, man, I want to change the world. And he's like, clean your room first. And once again, it's that idea that these small problems you're not above them. Sort them out and slowly start to build momentum from there. And I've gone through a bit of a weird period in my life, and that sort of rule, if you will, was something that I started to do. I was like, man, I just want to, the house needs to be clean.
Yeah.
The house is clean because I'm not above cleaning the house. Here I am on my high horse and I'm trying to get clients to take them on this mystical transformation. But my room's a fucking mess. And so you, in the sense, you're the guide doing that for the person, in the sense that you're saying, hey man, and you're not consciously saying this because you're a good coach. You leave a lot of this, but they don't. And it's not a manipulative thing. It's like, this is genuinely the most effective way to guide people.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Miyagi didn't tell the Karate Kid that, like, the wax on, wax off thing. He's like, you're not going to kill people one day. He's like, this is just what you need to do. The magician doesn't reveal his tricks till after the show.
Yeah.
The point being, you're doing the equivalent of having someone clean their room. And then they're building momentum. And then they're building momentum. And then it's like, all right, now we're going to solve some real world problems. Oh, real world problems are big. You're going to fail. Take a few steps back, clean your room, build it up again.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah, man. I think you hit it, right? Like, that's exactly what it is. It's, you can't expect to do anything big if you can't do the small things. Yeah. Like, most people come to me specifically because they want to learn cool shit specifically as well, right? Like muscle ups, forward rolls. And then a lot of the time I'm like, okay, show me a chin up. Show me this. let's talk about that first. All right, if you want that, this is the first step. And sometimes people are like, oh, nah, I'm cool. Hey, and walk away. But other times like, yeah, cool. They'll invest in that process, right? And then it's my job to be like, exactly like you said, okay, I don't need to tell them all the details of this, but what is the best path that I can give them to this, where they're still, one, getting the thing they want, so that it's not, hey, you want to learn how to do a muscle up? Cool, we're just going to do leg press every day of the week for 6 months, even if that worked, right? It's like, okay, here's some muscle up stuff, here's what you actually need. And getting them to understand eventually how you got there, but first just get them there.
Yeah.
Give them some early wins, build their confidence, get them to a place where they can do the skill, do the thing that they actually want to do, and fail a couple times without giving up.
I think this relates back to the previous kind of point about one of your greatest strengths as a coach is like you had to expose yourself to the basics so rigorously.
Yeah.
And you have this ability, because you've been exposed to that, to empathize with the client. So it's like, these are not just hollow words coming from Dylan. These are like, yeah, man, I fucking have done the shit.
I failed a lot.
Right? And like, I think a lot of coaches will say that.
Yeah.
I've failed a lot, man. But knowing you, and when you say I'm a slow learner, I feel that you mean it. And I've seen you try to play hacky sack. Dylan is a fucking slow learner.
Wait 6 years, bro. I'll be the hacky sack master.
But I believe it, and I think that your clients do. And it is definitely, to, as I said, kind of tie this in a knot, is one of your greatest strengths. Because I think there's an authenticity that sort of radiates out when you're like, yeah, man, like, we're going to do the basics. Come from you, it's like, fuck yeah, we're going to do the basics. Coming from, I don't know, maybe me, if I was trying to teach people what you do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're going to do basics. I'm like, I didn't do the fucking basics. I just did the cool shit, so it's legit.
Yeah. Yeah. Never underestimate the power of stubbornness, right? Like, that's all it is, right? I came from being a very stubborn person, and that stubbornness, tied with being a slow learner, led to being able to do this thing.
Do you have any current ventures that are, 6 years in the making?
The handstand's still there. Yeah. That's getting better. That's finally almost there. Mm-hmm. I think the next big thing for me is athleticism. Like, I'm working on a lot of plyometrics. I'm working on a lot of jumping and that sort of stuff. So I'd like to see, like, exploring a bit of parkour, doing some flips, doing some tricks.
Flippy, spinny shit.
Yeah, 6 years from now, it'd be cool to be able to do that. And man, who cares if it takes 6 years? Because then you have it forever, right? Like, I can pop out all the stuff that took me 6 years to learn anytime I want now, because it's ingrained. And I think this could be a whole nother conversation, but I think there is an issue with the way that we've been taught, for the majority of us, where we expect to learn things quick, right? I want to be a master, but I want to be a master now. And it's like, what happened to the old Chinese dude who comes in and he's like, I'm just a beginner, I've only been doing this for 10 years, right? And there is a value there too, right? Like, yeah, cool, play to your strengths. If you learn things quickly, learn and get to the level where you're like, oh, now it's hard. But show the value to the 10 years too, right? If you're doing that and you're accepting the fact that you're just at the start of your journey, fuck. The humility that comes with that, the ability to be okay with sucking and failing that comes with that, that's what I want.
It's so interesting, man, because like 6 years is an arbitrary time, but let's use a year. It's like, how many things do I do that I do now that it took me at least a year to learn? And it's actually a very difficult question to ask.
Yeah.
Or to respond to honestly, at least.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I have to really reflect and go, are there things? Do I have the grasp on the basics as much as I would like to believe?
Well, the other thing is, once you learn something, the time frame that it took to learn dissolves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, cool. I've learned how to do this.
Very true.
I don't remember how long.
Yeah, once you get a muscle up, you just like get up on the rings and do muscle ups.
Yeah. It's not like a thing anymore. And you forget that journey. It's like the same time when you first get good at lifting weights in general, right? You ask me how long I've been lifting weights, I have no fucking idea, right? Years, probably. How long did it take me to learn? a year, years probably, who knows, right? It's arbitrary, right? Once you've got the thing, you don't lose respect for the thing, but we can sometimes lose respect for the process and forget how long it took to get to that thing.
Yeah. As I said, I'm having a reflective moment now where I'm like, I think it's natural, isn't it? It's a human tendency to kind of disrespect the process.
Yeah. Well, how else are you going to move on to the next thing?
Yeah, well, and then I think there's this tendency of myself included to jump between things. We kind of dabble here and we dabble there, but we never get an authentic grasp on the thing itself. Have you felt that?
Yeah. I'm a bit of a dabbler, but I'm a dabbler with boundaries, if that makes sense. So I dabble in the sense of, man, I train every day and I train probably 4 different disciplines, but I only train those 4 disciplines.
Yeah.
Right. Once a month, I'll do something where I'm like, fuck it, let's go do something weird. Let's go climbing. Let's go do this. Let's go do some jujitsu. Let's go do whatever it is. But I'm strict on having rules.
Yeah.
Because especially if you've been to this gym, like there's people doing cool shit all over the place and it's very easy to get swept into that. So I'm like, yeah, cool. I can go and have a play maybe after I do this thing I've got to do. So it's like, yeah, I'm doing handstands, I'm doing ring gymnastics, I'm doing regular strength, I'm doing plyometrics, and I climb. Those are the things I do right now, right? Those are the only things I do, and I do them on the specific days to the specific amount so that I can maintain those things. Until I lose interest in one at the end of a phase, and then I'll opt it out for another. Now I'm not a climber, I'm a rower, whatever it is, right? You can play. You can do that. That's part of why we do what we do. But you also have to respect the process.
Yeah, well, I think that, to your point, the once-off thing, I think is good because it's an expression of your capability. It's like doing a one-off thing either affirms or completely challenges your training. Yeah. It's like if you can't go for a 12-hour hike on a Sunday sporadically, then perhaps your rigid powerlifting and your calisthenics,
it's not serving you the way you thought it was.
It's not serving you, man. Like, I mean, granted, we get specific with goals for a period of time, but at least in my eyes, and I think you agree with this, it's like you still want to have these life experiences that are genuinely enriching to something beyond just your rigid training schedule.
Definitely, dude. I had a big one like this year, which is part of where the plyometrics and the running came in. I did the City to Surf. I've done it once before years ago, but I was younger. I did the City to Surf this year, and I ran, and cool, I did a pace, right? Yeah. During the race, there was moments where I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to run the whole thing. Or like I'd get passed by some dude in his 50s, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Bro, I train every day. That guy's fat. Why is he running past me? And like, had people make comments at the start of the race, oh, you're going to set a good time, all this. And like, you get in your head, yeah, I'm going to set a good time. Man, I'm an athlete, right? Yeah. And then I did every this day, thing, bro. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, I did it, but fuck, that was tough. Yeah. And I should have been able to do way better than that. And then I started running, and I've kept running, and I'm enjoying it now. Yeah. But it definitely told me like, yo, here's this thing that you want to be able to do and have the expectation that you should be able to do. And you did a shit job.
Well, there's that humility intervention again. It's like, but I think you essentially decide based on how you want to express or where you want to be capable. Yeah. If the humility thing, if it's worth applying that particular, domain, which for you was running and working on that, or if you go, man, I fucking did the City to Surf. You know what? I don't really like running, so I'm going to leave that alone. Exactly. But it was great that I could do that.
Kicked a hacky sack once, not really a fan. Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like you could. But you could do the thing. Yeah. And you decide if this is a meaningful enough pursuit for you to go, man, I like that little rabbit hole. Once again, if I'm relating it to my training today, I've been kind of entertaining the idea of doing dedicating a specific amount of time to Olympic lifting. Like, I come from a CrossFit background, but I haven't done specific Olympic lifting. It's kind of been like sporadically through Metcons and whatnot. And it's like the failure today inspired a sense of like, oh, maybe that's a rabbit hole I should go down.
Yeah.
Versus your, like another thing where it's like with our other gym, we did this like 12-hour endurance event, and I'm like, that was cool that I could do that, but I don't want to train for endurance right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that. I could do it because my training at least is serving me and allowing me to express capability in that sense. But right now, it's not that important to me.
Yeah.
But I think the main takeaway there is like, you can.
Yeah.
You can do the city surf. You can do an endurance event. You can lift heavy shit because you're capable.
I came to the opinion earlier this year, actually, just before I got married. I was thinking about a lot of stuff. Like, you have reflections before you get married. You have a lot of stuff come up in your head, right? But one of them was like where I was when my partner and me started dating versus where I am now, right? And I had this really cool thought where I'm like, oh, anyone can do fucking anything. It's just if they're passionate about it and they want to do it. And since then, like, every time I've wanted to fucking do something, I'm like, okay, do you want to do it? Cool, do it. And you will get better. Like, there is nothing that anybody can't learn to do if they actually want to learn to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, it's that simple. If you really want to do it, you'll do it. It just means that you've got to be able to accept the process.
Yeah.
Accept the failure. And that means that you've got to be fucking passionate about it. Because failing sucks.
It does. Yeah. I was having a conversation to myself this morning because it's what I do. And I was thinking about the phrase best interest. You know, when you say this is in your best interest. And we generally say it like, oh, you should stay away from that because it's in your best interest. So we usually kind of overlay it with this like negative connotation. It's like, yeah, I strongly recommend you do this, or I strongly don't recommend you do that. But what best interest actually means when you think about it is like, what are you most interested in?
Yeah.
What is in your best interest?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. As I said, I'm just applying this kind of, little twist on it. And I'm like, well, we throw around this statement, best interest, but like, what actually is in our best interest? And for you, doing the City to Surf, it's like, it was in your best interest to start running more.
Yeah.
Versus, it wasn't in my best interest to start training jiu-jitsu. I wasn't interested in that at the time the most.
Yeah. I like it because it allows for there to be more room as well, right? Like, what's in your best interest now could change tomorrow, and it could change throughout the process as well. But it's still always in your best interest.
And this is the interesting thing as well. I think this is where you apply that discipline. It's like interest, like motivation, can waver.
Yeah.
And here is where it's like Dylan, second week of his running journey, wakes up one morning, is like, I'm not interested in running today, but I've committed to running 5Ks on a Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm only 2 weeks in, and I'm a coach, and I know that 2 weeks is not enough to do anything. It's like I have to give myself at least 6 weeks if I want to see anything tangible from this. So, it might not be in my best interest today specifically because I'm a bit low on energy. I'm not feeling very motivated, but it's in the best interest of me as a coach and a human with cognitive capacity and who is disciplined and wants to see this process through to get up today and do the thing.
And it all ties back to the early wins, bro. Right? Like, you can see that if you've had the early wins. If you're on the new journey, let's say I'm not a coach, I'm not into fitness, and I've just gone for one run and it fucking sucked. And then the second run fucking sucks, right? It feels like I'm failing, and I'm continuously failing because my expectations don't match the reality, right? All we have to do is make sure that we can have that good starting point, have a goal in mind, and that's discipline, right? That's discipline. Discipline is just understanding that things get better because you've gone through that process before and things have gotten better. Yeah.
Well, I mean, something's coming back to me now where when I was over in the US, I was like having these experiences. I'm like, man, I need to do things that I like doing as a kid. And I like climbing shit as a kid. So I'm like, when I get back to Sydney, I'm going to start bouldering. I'm going to become a fucking savage at this bouldering stuff. And I was interested, but I had never done it before. I mean, apart from a kid climbing trees and whatnot. This is me justifying why I haven't continued. But anyway, I kind of went into this bouldering gym and I did so with an open mind because I really didn't know what to expect. And got up on the wall, did some climbing. And after about an hour at the gym, I was like, I don't know, this doesn't compel me. And so I haven't gone back. Someone might say that I've failed to apply discipline in that situation. But really, it was a matter of me going in with an open mind and going, is this going to grab me?
Yeah.
And it didn't. And I haven't shamed myself for that. And I think it's the same with anyone. We believe that physicality is an essential component of humanity.
Yeah.
Like, we believe that people should express themselves physically. But it may not be in the way that we think is best.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thought experiment in the sense that, like, I know I've been guilty of it in the past as a coach. When someone doesn't buy into my way of training, I'm like, well, what are you doing, bro? But it's like, they'll hopefully find a thing and we've opened a door. So I think there's a part of you where you have to be very... Well, maybe you do go in with an open mind, but there's also a part of you where it's like you approach that interest with sort of this earnest curiosity. You're like, am I going to be grabbed or am I not going to be grabbed?
Yeah.
If I wasn't grabbed, was it because it was hard and I didn't like it, or was it generally because it just didn't speak to me?
Yeah.
And I think as, tie it back to being a slow learner, it's like you could be a slow learner at so many things, but you've chosen to be a slow learner at the things that you've slow learned through. Because, there is this, like you said, there's this infinite amount of possibilities of things that we could be good at, if we give ourselves 6 years. And I suppose interest as a kind of gauge, or curiosity as a gauge for directing our physical practice.
Yeah, and perceived value, right? Like, there's interest and there's that as well, but there's the perceived value of the thing. Mm-hmm. I think I can only speak for myself, but I know there are things that maybe I wasn't so interested in when I first started training or doing them, whatever it is. But I could see a value there, whether that value was the actual value or not important. I could see that for me, hey, doing this is going to allow me to go on to this next thing, or is going to give me the ability to do what I want to do, right? Yeah.
What I think about is, I think that what we're actually doing is feeling what feels good.
Yeah.
I was actually having a conversation this morning at a cafe about like how we're an overly intellectual culture and how actually getting back to the sensation, the feelings of things is probably a better way to orient ourselves. So it's like curiosity, not as a thinking, but as a feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that, pure speculation, but I think maybe the more that we train, the more we get in touch with ourselves physically, the better we get at understanding feeling and sensation.
Yeah,
just a hypothesis. The guys in the back are like, that's fucking profound.
They don't give a shit. They're on their own thing. Yeah, 100%, right? Like, it's mind-muscle connection. It's all that, right? Like, the more you understand the thing, the better connection you have to the thing. Yeah.
I might experiment with that in my own life. Yeah. It's why I like talking to people, because it's like, I use these conversations as like out loud problem solving.
Yeah.
And for me anyway, it's valuable to kind of not intellectualize, but bring into order, the idea that like I have all and you have all these fucking random thoughts swirling around in chaos. And it's not until you try and articulate them on a recorded conversation where you're like, all right, I have to bring those into order. And because they're in order, now I understand them. And because I can understand them, now I can apply them consciously, which is what, you're doing as a coach when you're bringing someone back and giving them small wins. It's like you could do that process, or you might have accidentally done that process when you first started coaching, but now you're conscious of it because you've brought it into your awareness, you've understood it and you've applied it.
Yeah.
Now you're much more effective at it.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's probably what happens for most people in most fields, right? Like there is a point where intuitively you do an okay job at a thing, right? Like you have an intuitive understanding of your role within society and what it's supposed to be, and you do that thing. That is acceptable for our stage until you become better known at that thing, and then it is your responsibility to make the intuitive planned process. Have a bit more thought behind it. This thing that I was doing before, now I'm scrutinizing it and trying to understand why I'm doing it, what the meaning behind me doing it is.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to bring up in the coaches meeting today, it was relevant. There was people talking and I was like, one of the best ways to learn is to teach.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about coaching.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I kind of get to experience being a beginner again and then take myself through that process. I'm like, oh, like this is actually a fundamental thing that I mightn't have experienced because I might have skipped it without realizing it.
100%.
You know, and even for yourself, like someone who's taken yourself through the long and arduous process, you might be coaching someone through a thing and be like, oh yeah, this is like a fundamental thing, which I didn't necessarily experience, but now I'm experiencing it with my client and it's helping me be a better teacher of the thing.
Yeah. It's the whole reason why JB's you partner up, right? Like you're not in it alone. You are there as a teacher and a student. Like you observe your partner doing their reps, you give them feedback because you're going to learn from that. And they do the same for you. There is a level of understanding that can only come from an external viewing and giving the cues, right? We see others and we learn from it. I think it's something like 80% of learning is done visually, right? Like you can't see yourself in space or time, or you can't, like even the way that we think about ourselves in space and time, right? Like I think my thoughts, it's hard for me to be as critical of my thoughts as it is for someone else's thoughts. Sometimes you'd be overcritical of your own thoughts, but like it's so much easier if we have a common trait for me to see that trait as a positive or negative in another person than it is within myself.
Talk to me then about the qualities of your favorite teachers.
A level of arrogance.
Yeah. Fair.
Right. Like there needs to be that authority sense, right? Thankfully, most of them have been able to back it up, and so I've been able to progress. A level of discipline and expectation, and a level of care. Those three things, that's what I look for in a coach. Funnily enough, like the expertise wasn't up there, but like I think that if you have those three things, the expertise is part of it. The arrogance comes with the ability to know that you're good, and that attracts people, right? The care, well, I want to sometimes feel cared for and be given the feedback that is necessary, right? That all put together allows me to feel like I'm getting taken care of. Okay, this coach is being critical and giving me critical feedback where it's necessary. One of my favorite sentences that I've now used in my own coaching that my coach uses to me is, that was not shit. Right?
Okay.
Right? Like,
expand.
Yeah. That's not good, but it's not shit.
Okay.
It's a step on the way.
Okay.
Right? That's not shit. We're not quite to where we want it to be yet, but you're getting better.
It's
right?
sort of like a tough love kind of sentiment,
exactly,
isn't it?
Exactly. And I like that from my coaches, and I give that for my PT clients. Right? Like there is a level of my expectations are there, and you need to meet those expectations. That being said, I do respect the fact that sometimes my expectations cannot be met and you're still progressing, right? And that's when the level of care can come in as well. So like, I might be like, that's not shit, and then do something nice or say something nice afterwards, right? But I'm still telling them, hey, you haven't quite met the expectation there. Work needs to be done.
Interesting, because it's kind of like when I look at you, maybe just from the outside, it's like, you're actually not shit at anything, are you?
Oh, bro, there's plenty.
Yeah, but like the stuff that grabs you and the stuff that you're curious about, you're not shit at any of it. Granted, like you're not, like throwing 120 kilos over your head for a snatch, but you're not shit at snatching.
Debatable.
You can do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You're not shit at it.
Yeah.
the same can be said about, I don't know, a handstand. Like that's a journey that you've been on for a long time.
Yeah.
And you can do it. You're not shit at it anymore.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Like to say Dylan is just not shit at anything, which in a way is like I'm meaning it as a nice compliment. Not to say like,
I get it, right? And I think it all comes down to expectation, right? Like what's not shit to me is different from what's not shit to other people. Because as you get less not shit, you see it as shit, right? It's like, oh, you can hold a 20-second handstand. Cool, that was awesome when you couldn't catch a handstand, but now why can't you do it for a minute?
Man, I remember I did this little short online course about language, and they talked about avoiding negations. Negations meaning like, don't do this or not that. And it's like, I actually think negations have the potential to be more profound than affirmations.
Yeah.
It's like, not shit.
I love that sentence.
Or great.
Yeah.
I think great is almost too specific. And this is why this language course is saying be specific. But it's like, not shit gives you more room in a sense.
Well, here's the thing, right? If I say to you, you just did a rep, and I'm like, good. What's good? Good is, okay, that was acceptable. Good is not great. Good is just meeting the minimum. Like, I don't know what that is, right? For me, if I say not shit, it means, okay, we're not where we want to be, right? And yeah, of course, there is always the level of, that's my understanding. Hopefully my clients get that, and usually I think they do because they're the people that have chosen to work with me. But it's a little bit more clear to me, right? There's work to be done.
And it's almost, it's a truer statement. Like, there's more work to be done. You won't arrive.
Yeah.
You won't arrive is a negation. Well, because you will arrive is like arbitrary. Like there is no arrival.
Yeah.
So being not shit is far more accurate than good in a really kind of inverse manner.
And then if you do a rep and you get a good or anything, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the things that I've learned about when I'm in an environment and I'm, with a really good teacher is that, say if I'm referencing a more recent experience where I was over in the US, it's like there wasn't a lot, if any, kind of positive good. It was all kind of dissonance, which provided me huge potential to change, because I'm like, oh, that wasn't right, let's look here. That wasn't right, let's look here. And it was like this really transformative period because I never got the good. And Michael said that his mentor was the same. He said that, I think he said twice, like Mark's ever said good job, and he remembers those times so clearly.
Yeah.
And I'm cognizant of this when I'm coaching, and I don't know if you are as well, but I'd be curious to hear your take as to whether you consciously hold back on the affirmation stuff because you know that long term maybe feeding them that much is not in their best interest.
Yes and no. It depends on the situation, right? I have a standard. There's always a standard, right? Standards can be arbitrary. They can be whatever you want them to be, but there has to be a standard because that gives us someone to work to. That being said, my standard for a different person is going to be different. If my standard for a different situation is going to be different. My standard running through a class of 20 people to my standard for one of my PT clients is completely different. My standard for one of my PT clients in that class of 20 people is different once again, right? The level of affirmation depends on where that person is in their journey. And that's part of my role, is being like, okay, yeah, you're a hard-ass coach. That's the way you play things. Cool. Everyone at the gym knows this. What's hard-ass to this person has to still be different to this person. Because if you give my Aaron Hook, one of my clients, the level of hard-ass that I give him to another person, that person's just going to fucking leave the gym and cry and then never do the thing, right? So you've got to assess, cool, this is what they need, right? It's not about what I need, it's about what they need. And if that is a little bit more positivity, it's my responsibility to be able to tell that.
Here's what I'm coming to believe, is that the best coaches know the least. And what I mean by that is kind of what you were saying, is that you've got a class of 20 people. You actually don't know jack, because every person, you're applying a different mode of being. So it's like you can't know until you know the person, and that's when you're making some adjustments. So it's like,
how do you feel about the speaker in the back corner?
I'm kind of trying and experimenting with that idea. It's like, fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know. But like, if you want to work together, we can figure it out together.
I love that. In my coaching, that's a big thing, is that I don't know, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a journey. That's a relationship. It's not a dismissive, fuck, I don't know. It's a, here's the opportunity for us to do something.
And this is what I think, like, ultimately we're selling if we're reading between the lines. It's like, let's go on a journey together. Because it's like, the selling part is, here's the specific solution, but if we are reading between the lines, it's like, you're a person, I'm a person. Let's like figure shit out together and hope that we arrive at the same place. You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm beginning to feel about it. You know? And that's just me and where I'm at in my journey now. And granted, there is an element, especially with Joey in the room now, where I'm like, fuck, you have to offer a specific, tangible solution. Granted, that's part of marketing. But I think, as I said, ultimately it is not really curriculum based. It's very reactive. It's, dude, I don't fucking know you. Give me a few sessions to get to know you, and then we'll figure it out on the fly. That feels to me more honest.
It's also a tangible solution.
Yeah.
Right? Like, in itself. That's a way to say, hey, the solution is that we're going to figure it out together.
Yeah.
Right? That's a solution. It's just not a, here it is before we start. Right? It's not a quick fix. It's a, this takes work, let's do the work.
Yeah. So if we go, and we'll start to wrap up soon, but if we go to that idea around 6 years,
yeah.
Where does Dylan see Dylan in 6 years? What type of skills does he have? What's he doing?
Skills, bro. Man, I don't know. I think, like, doing the same things but on different things. I don't see the way I live my life changing much from now onwards, right? I think I'll always be being kind of not shit at a bunch of things, right? That's where I'll be in 6 years. It's just that the bunch of things I'm not shit at will be a little bit different or a little bit further along the journey. Mm-hmm. Maybe instead of running one gym, I'm running two, or something's happening where I'm out of the gym and I'm doing like a thing with the JA. Okay, cool. I know how to handstand. Now I'm doing one arm handstands. That's another 6 years, right? I'm me, just me further along.
Yeah.
But nowhere near the end.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's just same place, but a little less shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, this has been awesome.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
It was a good chat.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you coming on. Expect to hear a few more in the coming weeks. But yeah, appreciate it, dude.
Pleasure.
Speak soon. We just fist bumped. Didn't catch up on the audio. Peace out, guys.